on Miami Dolphins versus Denver Broncos. Look, I was a little critical of Drew Lock after the Las Vegas Raiders game. He threw the 4 interceptions, and I said, Denver Broncos fans comment below, or, is he the answer? I'm going to walk that back slightly. I still don't think that he's the answer. This is my just unbiased opinion. I don't have, a bone to pick with Denver. I'm not a fan. I'm not a fan. Like, I rooted for the Peyton Manning Denver Broncos in the Super Bowl. I don't really care is what I'm saying. My opinion is that Drew Lock probably isn't the answer, but at the same time, he's on a rookie contract, so at least roll with him unless you're in position to do better. I wouldn't go out and spend a bunch of money on Dak Prescott. I would rather have Drew Lock at his cap number than, Dak Prescott next year. So, that's where I am on Drew Lock. But what I will say is Lock, man, he's a good come from behind player. And I know there have been injuries and all that stuff. I like Denver, but I think what they're going to be coming up against is a Miami Dolphins team that is just a little bit better offensively and a lot better defensively. And their defense, that's the reason I wanted to touch on them. Their defense is impactful and overlooked at the same time. People still aren't giving them a lot of credit. I watched them live against the Chargers. I've been picking up a lot of, post-game stuff, Game Pass stuff. I finally put them on the TV this weekend. And their defense reminds me of the Pittsburgh Steelers defense when the Pittsburgh Steelers are playing at their best. They rush, they're aggressive, they generate turnovers, their special teams generates turnovers. Every single week you see a Miami Dolphins like Van Ginkel or something running down the sideline after a fumble or an interception or something like that. They make so much of an impact. And then you have their offense. You got Tua back there slinging the ball. He hasn't thrown an interception yet, Brad, in 2 or 3 starts.
I know. It's been awesome.
And he's getting better every week.
Yeah. What a story, the Miami Dolphins, right?
I want to keep saying this because you and me both, and you live in Miami. You're a Packers fan. You live in Miami. You and me have both been talking about how hard this Dolphins team plays.
Yeah, right.
Since last year.
Since last year, and it's starting to show, and it's starting to pay off.
Because now their talent has caught up, and they made a lot of investment in the offseason on the defense. I'd say their weakness right now is run blocking. I don't think anybody could make that argument that it's not. Run blocking, picking up tough yardage, and that's why I think come playoff time, it could be an issue. If let's just say they're in Buffalo and it's 5 degrees and snowing, they're going to be able to. They're going to need to run the ball. But maybe Tua, he escapes the pocket. He's not Kyler Murray, but he can move the chains. Not yet.
Right? The guy started twice or 3 times now, but either way, he's undefeated.
He's
undefeated. So
taking care of the ball.
It's a little early to know what he is. And another thing is that we know that once a starter gets 5-6 games under his belt, then he's shown tendencies.
Yeah, right.
And then there's usually a little bit of a dip because other coaches know now what they like to do with that quarterback. Right?
Which, by the way, I think is what's happened a little bit with Drew Lock, right? He had 5 games to end the year last year. We talked about this. They went on a run. They ended up finishing second in the division. I believe they were 7-9 in that division last year. People kind of overlooked that. They've had massive amount of injuries this year, so they've not been a relevant team, but they're not a bad team when they're healthy. But to your point, Tua, I was going to say he's not Kyler Murray because not a lot of people are. Like, he doesn't have the speed or quickness of a Kyler Murray, but he does remind me a little bit of Russell Wilson and his ability to move in the pocket and escape.
He looks like him. He's built like him. He runs around like him. I agree.
And you know what I like about him specifically, too, is if he escapes the pocket, eyes downfield, throw the ball. And Kyler Murray's the same way. Russell Wilson's the same way. Lamar Jackson breaks the pocket, he's looking to run. That's the way RG3 was when I used to follow the Washington team. So he's a different kind of quarterback. I really like the Dolphins. I don't think, look, they're going to be a tough out in the playoffs, but if they play, let's just say they play an Indianapolis Colts, who I think have the same record, if I'm not mistaken. If they play like a Colts in the playoffs in a weather-controlled situation, they're going to be a tough out, man, because their defense is so good.
Yeah, and then they're starting to believe in themselves. Mm-hmm. That's what I'm seeing. You can see it when they're out there.
They bought in, man.
They bought it, and that's a credit to the coaching.
Yes,
and they're a team. They're a unit. They're playing as one, man, and they are fired up. They're fired up. And I just have to mention this: the Green Bay defense, whatever's going on there, nobody's bought in. Nobody.
You're right.
It's like the opposite side of the coin. There's no intensity. There's no tackling. It's It's disgusting.
When I look at a team that comes under, like a young team comes under new coaching, and by the way, let me say this. When the Cleveland Browns years ago, before they went to Dorsey, I think it was maybe Shashi Brown, whatever they were doing, and they were just letting all their veterans go. They were getting compensatory picks. They were getting all this stuff. They were stockpiling picks. I was like, look, this is 1 to 2 years of pain, and then you got nothing but money after that. Then they bring in Dorsey, and he blows the whole thing up, completely screws it. Miami. Everybody was talking like, 2 years ago? Oh, Miami's tanking, blah, blah, blah. Miami's stockpiling draft picks, right? They get a coaching staff in there. They're bad to start 2019, but when you want, and this is what I look for, when I watch the games and they're losing by 20 or 30 points in the fourth quarter, and the running back runs up the sideline or a receiver catches the ball, and somebody makes a tackle, and then there's 5 other Dolphins in the picture trying to make that tackle when they're losing by 20 in the fourth quarter. That's a team that's building.
Right.
They're doing the right things. You look at Detroit. That's why I've been out on Matt Patricia. You look at Cleveland last year, Freddie Kitchens. You can see that the players aren't buying in. You just mentioned it with the Green Bay defense. You need a leader. Flores is a leader. Tua looks to me like he has great leadership.
Yes. He seems like a really likable dude.
Yep.
And you could imagine that people like playing with him, which is important.
I like the Buffalo Bills and what they're doing. I think Miami's going to be the better team because what's going to happen in this offseason, I don't know how deep they're going to run, but at this point I would say they'll be in the playoffs because their defense is a playoff, like elite defense, and they're going to continue to get better. This offseason they're going to they have a stockpile, a treasure trove of picks over the next few years. They need like 2 offensive linemen, and that's it. And then they got all the other pieces. Maybe another receiver if Preston Williams keeps getting hurt. This team is like there.
Yeah, right.
And that's why you be patient with the draft picks. There makes no sense to go 9-7. Makes no sense.
Yes, that's true, right? You find yourself in purgatory. You're in the abyss. That's the worst place you could be for sure.
And that comes from ownership and GM too. The owner's got to say, hey, look, I know this is going to be a really nasty 2 years. I know maybe concession stands and parking, revenue, maybe it'll be a little bit down. Get the draft picks because I want to go on a 15-year run. And Miami is building a team. I mentioned that we talk about San Francisco. Organizationally, they're set up so well. They got, Garoppolo. I would actually rather have Tua than Garoppolo. But basically, they're set up. Their defense is elite when everybody's healthy. They're set up. Miami is set up to be on a decade championship window.
Oh, yeah.
It's cool, man. It's really cool.
It is very cool. And it's not that I was a hater on the Patriots because I wasn't. I always respected what they were doing. But it is nice to finally get some different, different blood in there. For sure, 100%.
Plus, we grew up. I mean, when we first came to the NFL, it was Dan Marino. It was Dan Marino versus Jim Kelly. Dolphins versus Bills. There's something about just seeing those colors match up on TV. The white and the teal,
I know.
Or turquoise or whatever the color is, and then
it's classic.
It is classic, and the Patriots is just like, been there, done that for the last 2 decades. So give me something new.
I know. Yeah, this feels right.
Miami, to me, Miami is the future of this division. I don't know that they'll get the. I mean, look, Buffalo is what. Well, they just lost. So they have 3 losses now? Or is it 2 losses?
I can't say
3?
For certain. Are you sure they just lost?
That was that Hail Mary at the end of the game. Because I had chalked them. So they're both 3 losses.
That was Buffalo. Yes.
And I think Buffalo's on the bye week. So if Miami wins, I believe record-wise, Buffalo has a tiebreaker head-to-head, but they square off again. So we'll see what happens this year in the division. I'm not writing the Dolphins off. Nobody should. Let me hit you with the line in this particular game here. You got Miami, according to Bovada, -3 at Denver. Who would you take?
I'm going to stay with Miami, man. I think they're getting better and better each week. I like them to cover.
I know it's a road team, and I think Denver's a little bit better than their record. Don't get me wrong, but -3, this defense.
Right. I know.
Nobody can.
I know.
I mean, I'm taking Miami.
With you.
Drew Lock, he doesn't start games quickly. He finishes them well, but 3 points isn't a lot to cover. I think this line should have been at 6.5, maybe even 7 with how Miami's playing. It just goes to show you that the bettors and the sports books, to me, haven't respected what Miami's been putting out on the field just yet. Now, Tua might very well fall flat, but Miami needs more respect than that. 3 points on the road. But let's see it, Miami. You got to prove it. Got to prove it. All right, next little thing just to touch on very quickly here.